Hello and welcome to episode 201 of This Week of Gear-Report, the show where we talk about everything that's been published since the last program here, published on the Gear-Report.com website or the various different video channels we have. We're going to talk about upcoming things, although we're probably not going to talk about that much this episode because this is going to be a little bit more of a celebration. I got some of my homies here with me to help celebrate. To say welcome to the 200 show club, which is nothing for someone like G-Webs who's done thousands and thousands of online live streams like this. But for some of you wily veterans, this isn't that big of a deal. But for us here at Gear-Report, this is kind of a new thing we started during COVID. So to break 200 episodes is a big deal for us. So everyone knows me. I'm Jeff. I will offer TJ's regrets. He had a family thing he had to go take care of this afternoon. So, or this evening, I guess. So, we'll all give TJ kind of a remote high five. You know, good job stepping up for the family and going to do what he's dealing with this afternoon. And hopefully, we'll be able to get him back on the program here shortly. And now, if Clover Tech, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, man. Clover Tech on the YouTubes, dude. Congrats on breaking 200, man. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, thank you. It's baffling to me. The Quiet Hustler, would you like to unquiet yourself briefly and say hello?
Yes, indeed. Hello, everybody. I'm Kevin with SuppressorMan.com.
Yeah, all right. Thanks for that. And let's see, Gizzard Gary. Since we got Gizzard Gary's comment up there, why don't we ask Gizzard Gary to say hello?
Yo, yo, yo. Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me. And congratulations, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. Was that a trademark or was that just, a common use?
It's from the heart, man. That's from the heart.
Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. I really appreciate it. Gun Snob that offered one yo to us this afternoon. And of course, Gary saying hi to him. And that leaves us with G-Webs. I thought I heard one of the puppies trying to introduce himself a little bit early. And G-Webs must have stepped away to deal with the dogs. So, and there's that.
Nah, that was one of my puppies.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
I have 5 of them still.
Oh my goodness.
And they're sweethearts.
I thought you said they were being
transported. They will be.
Yeah.
They will be. I think 4 of them are adopted so far. And once the 5th one, this one gets adopted. This is the only female.
Wow.
And she's a sweetheart.
Yeah. Okay, so for all the folks here on the panel, G-Webs is having some mic issues and dropped off to restart. And I did hear that weird squeak thing. We're still trying to identify where that came from. It happened when I pulled down on my little reverb control here because I'm seeing lots of comments about I sound like I'm in an empty auditorium. And I am playing with this new soundboard thing that I got. Oh, and I can't lift it up high enough to show it on camera without risking unplugging something. But it's a neat little soundboard thing, and it's got a reverb option on it that I've been playing with to see if it sounds cool or not. So if it's too much, let me know. Gun Snob says it's actually worse now. Really? Let me pull that down a little bit more then. We'll see if that helps. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how to use this thing and decide if I want to use it or go back to the old way of doing it. So we'll see. Okay, and G-Webs, you want to see if your mic works now? I heard the squeak when he unmuted. I think the squeak we're hearing is when G-Webs tries to talk.
Yeah, that's probably what it sounds like.
It's got a cable issue. One of the puppies got hungry, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even want to speculate which one it could have been either, because that would be wrong, I think. So anyhow, welcome to the program. We really appreciate you guys being here, and we're going to dive real quick. Let's get into the housekeeping stuff. we need to do? I got to get my banners changed up here because we do a camping chat supporting people going out to the Philmont Scout Ranch for the Boy Scouts of America. We do that the second Tuesday of every month, and I still had a couple things set up in here from that. Like right here, we have Camping Gear Report at the top right. I'm going to switch this back to our normal. Let's see. Report. Yeah, let's do that one. We'll stick with the Gear Report Reviews logo. And I do want to call out thanks again to our sponsors, Sylvan Arms, the great people there at Sylvan Arms. You can go find their website, check out all the cool goodies that they have. And the ticker at the bottom says we're here every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. That's been true up to this point. That may change, it may not. I don't know. TJ, with his new work schedule, is having trouble making it for the 9 o'clock programs lately. So I offered him, hey, do we need to move it up earlier or change the time and date or something? We'll have to see. I'm trying to accommodate that, work with TJ on that because he means a lot to this program on a weekly basis. So we'll have to see what happens. But for now, we're still here Thursdays at 9 p.m. If anything changes, we'll get it out on all the different social media channels and let everyone know. And G-Webs is back. Is it going to work this time? No squeaky noise, but there was a squeak. I don't know what. I am not aware of any set I have that can help with that. Let's see, is there anything I can do? Yeah, I don't. If anyone has any ideas on how we can let me know. But
Not use an Amazon mic.
yeah, yeah. And beyond that,
we all know he's got like 45 microphones. He's probably stacked up to review, so he's probably just going through them all right now. He'll eventually hit one that works. It's all good.
Yeah. All right. So now we're going to switch to our first regularly scheduled segment of the program, which we do call this week at Gear Report. We're going to call it recent reviews. We got 3 things to talk about. We're going to try to power through those with a bit of haste, not too much haste, but with a bit of haste. This one, I don't want to rush too much because it has been a long time coming. TJ had a couple technical difficulties when he started this review of Monster Tough. It's a spray-on coating from Duty Coat. And the thing about this that's different than what you find with most spray-on coatings, and you see this is like a metal coating that you can use on things like firearms and other things as well. And it's similar to like a Cerakote in the applications that you would use it for. But as far as the way it goes on, you don't have to have an oven and bake it. You can kind of heat set it, but it's a different process. It's supposed to be, and TJ has confirmed through his testing that it is pretty accurate, that you get a surface that is similar to a Cerakote, maybe a little tougher than a Cerakote, but it's easier. You don't have to have a convection oven dedicated to curing it.
So that's maybe more like a Duracoat.
Well, and supposed to be more durable than a Duracoat. So yeah, if you're familiar with Duracoat, then think Duracoat, but a little more wear resistant is my understanding.
Okay.
And he did some experimenting. Is why this took part of the reason this took as long as it did is he had to upgrade his equipment once or twice. I think that the initial spray gun he was trying to use wasn't sufficient for this type of use. He was trying to use some house painting stuff that he had, I think, and he went and got a nice like automotive painting paint gun, and you can see hung it up, mixed up the paint, sprayed it. He did a 2-tone job on this 8.6 blackout build that he did, and you can see the type of paint gun that he used there. He's got that illustrated, and took some trial and error to dial it in, but it really came out nice in my opinion. Using that receiver set from Live Free Armory and Phoenix Weaponry, Handguard, and we'd have to go through the article and look at what all the parts were that he used in this build. But those are the ones I remembered off the top of my head. He seemed pretty impressed with that. We had quite a bit. Komar joins us on this program. He's done a lot of testing on that product as well. Been pretty happy with it. So, I mean, this is one that Marcus, it's something that he's promoting through Modern Spartan Systems. He has been very eager to see this happen. And interesting, G-Web says the Mike's working on his side and on his streams, but not with StreamYard.
So is it working in here?
Oh, there you are.
There it is.
Hear him now.
Hey, welcome.
Hey, we're glad. Thanks for hanging in there, man. That's it's nice that
I had a lot of browsers open, so it was probably my computer just got lost on which one was supposed to have this.
Yeah,
audio.
could be. Yeah, I appreciate all the hoops you had to jump through to be a part of the program. So thanks. So anyhow, Marcus
This
has
paycheck, it's worth it.
yeah, really. That they've been very eager to get this review out, and TJ's got some video. I think as part of the delay, he wanted to release the video at the same time, and eventually I said, you know what, let's just publish the written now, and we'll get the video out soon, where you'll be able to see exactly how easy it was for him to do what is a pretty professional looking job on these firearms, and he's not a professional gun painter. Like I don't want to down talk him. I don't want to up talk him. He's a normal dude who has painted houses and spray painted stuff, but he's not like a professional gun painter. And the gun looks really nice after he painted it. So I think that their goal with Duty Coat is to make it very user friendly. So you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to take training courses to be able to use it. And it sounded from TJ that if you understand how the paint guns work and you can make the adjustments on them, that you can really dial it in and do a good job, by yourself at home. So really excited that was published, and we're likely to have someone from Modern Spartan Systems on soon to talk about that and maybe share some of that video when we get that.
Now, does it say in the article, did he have to strip anything before he painted or just blast it?
I think that any stripping that TJ did in this project was purely recreational and not a requirement of the project. But he started with bare metal and everything.
Wow. Okay.
So, yeah, if he started with an anodized or, used firearm, then there may have been some additional prep steps. I don't know. But because he started with, in the white, so to speak, uncoated parts.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, so we can wrap up the recently published reviews. Caleb, our hunting editor, says why you should buy military surplus, USGI, ECWCS, Gore-Tex parka and pants, which I know Kevin's familiar with as someone still actively participating within the armed forces of the United States, where these are issued. I know I've got a couple of these jackets that I've gotten surplus over the years, and I've been pretty happy with them. Depends on what you're using them for, obviously. I'm a big poncho person, like if I'm out backpacking. I don't like rain jackets and rain pants, but depending on what you're doing, these can be a really, really economical way to solve rain protection if you're hunting or doing any kind of outdoor activities where you're not likely to sweat a ton because they only vent so much moisture. But they're pretty durable, pretty economical. Anyone have experience with these?
That's the major problem with these is your internal moisture.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, if you're wearing this and you're sweating, it's just going to trap in sweat. So this is really, really helpful for extreme cold weather. That's what it's designed for.
Yeah.
So it's going to keep you warm when it's 0 degrees, 30 degrees. But when you're wearing this and it's 50 degrees, but it's rainy and nasty, you're going to be sweating internally, and it's not fun. Not
which is
as
not
fun.
which is not unusual. When I talk about rain gear, um, I mentioned that a couple nights ago, the second Tuesday of the month, we had the big backpacking chat for people going out to do treks at Philmont. Those are 7, 9, or 12-day backcountry wilderness backpacking trips, and a lot of people struggle with how to use the how to set up the rain gear. And I always say two things. And it doesn't matter if you're a backpacker or doing something else. Rain gear isn't to keep you dry, it's to keep you from becoming hypothermic. So it's a body heat and moisture management system when it's done right. You have to balance the internal heat and sweat and moisture that you generate against keeping out the moisture from outside. If it's warm and it's raining, like when we're backpacking, for example, if it's warm and raining, I'm not even putting my rain gear on. Why would I? Who cares? Like, I'm not going to get hypothermic, so who cares if I get wet? Um,
Well, wet pants, and then especially with a lot of walking and movement, can be extremely uncomfortable and create issues later on. So
Yeah, it certainly depends on what kind of clothes you're wearing. Like
yeah,
if I'm doing outside stuff, I'm wearing synthetics where I know that if it gets wet, I'm going to be okay. So I
right.
don't look at this as a Gore-Tex parka and pants. I look at it as the outer shell of a moisture and temperature management system that, knowing that Gore-Tex is going to breathe a little but not too much, I'm going to want a synthetic base layer or like a smart wool or something to get the moisture away from me, so that even if it does get a little wet, I'm still going to be able to stay warm. So doesn't matter what kind of rain gear you're using. That's kind of my philosophy: is think of it as a heat and moisture management system, and not like it's going to keep me dry, so to speak.
I don't have any experience with this, but I've got quite a bit of stuff that's Gore-Tex and
Mhm.
the Gore-Tex fabric or textile. Well, I guess whatever you call it. Um,
Yeah.
it's pretty awesome. I mean, the care of it is, to take care of it is a little bit involved, I
Yeah.
guess you could
Is
say.
that was it a Beretta jacket that you got a couple years ago? Is that what I'm
Yeah,
thinking about?
I've got a vest and a hoodie basically, or a sweater from Beretta. There's Gore-Tex, and um, yeah, you don't put it in the dryer. Very, very light tumbling is what they recommend. Very light use of soaps and stuff on it. And this coming from Gore-Tex, right? Not
Yeah.
Beretta.
Yeah.
When I was looking into taking care of it, that kind of stuff, because it's very expensive gear. I don't know what the price on this is, but I got to figure, being Gore-Tex, it's probably not super cheap. Um, but when you got that kind of investment, you want to take care of it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go. I couldn't find any info with Beretta on care, and so I had to go to Gore-Tex to get that information. Sadly,
Interesting. Um, yeah, and Gore-Tex, it's been around for a long time, so it's an interesting technology that definitely has some pros and cons. But if anyone wants to check this out, I forgot to grab the link on that first one and post it out here in the comments. If anyone wants to check out these articles, I'm going to drop them out there for you, so you can go peruse them from the comments at your leisure. The
Do
last
you
one.
feel like it's right to wear clothes that are meant for a battlefield, just around in the streets?
I do. But so okay, let let's address that maybe a little bit more specific. I'm going to reopen that so you can see the picture of Caleb with the top and bottom. I think a top or a bottom is potentially different than what we see right there. You could maybe confuse him for like a military person if he's got the top and the bottom, But I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't.
Nah,
Looks like somebody that was just going hunting or camping around here, as
it
far as
does.
my
The
perspective.
military, the military hasn't used the DCU pattern since the 90s, right? Like, we we moved over to BDUs in the 2000s, and then to ACUs in like 2010, 2010s, and now we're at OCPs. So we're separated by 4 uniforms from these DCUs.
Right.
So I mean,
All,
I
all I
don't know.
gotta say is, if you ain't woodland, you ain't shit. You know? But
That's desert woodland.
desert
Yeah,
woodland.
it's the DC. The DC
It is
uses the desert combat uniform,
Yeah.
and it's like service life ended, as we were going into Iraq, 2003.
Yeah.
So you'll see some guys from the 2003 invasion with this, but absolutely no one in the current army has this uniform in their
Got
day
it.
to day, right?
Yeah. I hear you. So, was that your concern, Pete? Were you talking about, like, from
No, it's a
looking
military
like you're
spec.
in the military?
If you can't have guns that are worth for the battlefield, how should you be able to have clothes for the battlefield? Or
God
cars for the
forbid.
battlefield?
I appreciate if you don't say that stuff out loud and give stupid people ideas that they may not have had before.
Lower your voice.
Yeah. Like, we can talk about it privately, but we don't want the wrong person to hear it and be like, "Oh wow, that's a huge threat. We can't let them have, like, military surplus anything."
No assault parkas? What?
Right.
Salt parkas,
Oh, fuck.
right?
Yeah, fun stuff. So, another one from Caleb here is, oh, that's amazing. I'll share with you in a minute what that text I just got was. What we have here is a rare review from Palmetto State Armory. We used to do a lot with them in terms of firearms reviews, and then they got a kick where if you didn't have over 3 million subscribers, they didn't want to talk to you. So we didn't do much with them for a while, but they sent Caleb this AK last year, and he has put almost 2,000 rounds through it at this point, and really beat it up and given it a workout, and gives it a pretty good rating. Not he's not an AK guy, so this is really his first foray into the AK space, but from reading through this, he is really impressed and intrigued, and I think he is still an AR guy. If you had to pick one, AR or AK, he's still an AR guy, but I think he is solidly headed down the AK rabbit hole. And you can see, in typical Caleb fashion, for those of you who aren't really familiar with Caleb, he found his way to Gear-Report through a post that he made in a gun group about how to rattle can camo guns. He had a couple different examples that were really neat. And I said, "Hey, can we turn this into an article and put it on my website?" And, years later, he's still writing for Gear-Report and still rattle canning everything. So, great example there of what he does. Um, Super guy, very thorough, did a good job on this review, and was pretty happy with that AK. So, you guys do much AK stuff? Anyone? Yeah, that's what I expected.
Yeah, no,
Um,
not a whole lot.
I have
I
one.
have an AK
I
that
have one just to check it off the box and say I have one.
yeah. Well, mine's a post sample, so it lives in the safe at Quarter Horse Arms, and
Mm,
it is broken. It only fires semi right now, so I've got to find someone to fix it, because that's a little bit above my pay grade. Gunsmithing on a full auto AK is a little bit more than I do, and Alan at Quarter Horse Arms has volunteered to do it, but he doesn't do it often, and I'm a little leery about that. So I want to see if I can't find someone else to fix it for me.
sure.
If I brought it to Dallas or to Vegas, then you got a ton of machine gun gunsmiths there.
Yeah,
And
I
you
know.
said you did 1,000 rounds through there. We used to put a gun together and shoot a couple of 5,000 rounds through it, and then put it back together again.
Hmm.
So back in the days when 1,000 rounds were $80 or whatever.
Yeah. Caleb was able to do this because Global Ordnance really stepped up and sent him a significant variety of 7.62 by 3.9 for his testing. You see one of the Global Ordnance brand, and then a variety of other brands that you can get through fine retailers like Global Ordnance. So they really did a good job of supporting that with a lot of the bulk ammo, and then he mixed in some other types as well to just for the test. And that's too big. I like these pictures. He's got an old pickup truck that he keeps around. I kind of think he only has it so he can take cool gun pictures on it with the different paint sticking through it. But anyhow, so that wraps up the Magpul edition of the PSA K-47, the GF5, which, as far as I know, I think that's still the most current iteration that they have out. They keep, I think some of the early PSA AKs had potentially had some issues, and people didn't like the way they had done the trunnion. But from everything I understand, they have evolved them to be a pretty serious AK platform that even the biggest AK snobs have got to kind of tip their hat a little bit and say, well, okay, maybe it's not the super top tier custom, but it's a solid AK now. That seems to be consistent with what Caleb found in his test as well. So happy to get that one published before we go in a couple weeks to the gathering sponsored by Palmetto State Armory at the Clinton House in Clinton, South Carolina. Does anyone else feel as bad as I do for that whole town? Like, you had to be called Clinton, really? Like, I wouldn't wish that on the town, no matter how
And
bad people are.
it's
There was
it's
just one.
South Carolina. It's all good.
There's just one president. That name's been around for a long, long time. There's Clintons all over the place.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah, it's been sullied now, like very publicly and on the world stage. Um, Reviews will be published soon. I don't
Which
think we're going
one's
to talk about those tonight. We're going to skip over that altogether. I am going to briefly, let me get this off the screen. Just, I still got to do the Guitar Mageddon. And I'm going to show you guys real briefly. If I can figure out where I put it. Oh, there it is. This is what $94 shipped will get you off of Amazon in a little. I should call it a beginner guitar because price wise, it really is. If you know how to do any kind of setup on a guitar at all, for under $100, and 10 minutes of making some adjustments and tweaks on it, that's actually a really nice guitar, and it really blew my mind. I love budget guitars. That's really my sweet spot. And I got another one from that company that's shaped like a Les Paul a couple months ago, and it was uninspiring. I thought, you know what? I paid $88 for it. I got $88 worth of guitar. This one, I paid $94 or $96 or something, and it feels like a $200-300 guitar, which is upper beginner. So that we're going to call that the Guitar Mageddon segment, and I'm putting some videos up on Rumble on our Guitar Gear Report channel out there, in case anyone wants to check those out. Let's see, channels. I'll pull that over to the other screen and we can share that. Um, All right, I admit it. Maybe having 57 tabs open at the same time wasn't the greatest idea. And we're going to give G-Webs the spotlight for a second. Oh, the puppy playing the little mini guitar. That
We're
is a
having
mini
Guitar
guitar.
Mageddon, so I brought out a guitar, an Amazon guitar. You said bring out
Amazing.
Amazon guitars.
Yeah. And you go, puppy. Nice.
He doesn't like things. He doesn't like things that make noises, but he's willing to whittle on a guitar for you.
Yeah, that was cool. And it's not an ukulele. It's small, but it's got
Oh,
6
it's a
strings.
guitar. Yeah, we got all the strings on this one.
Yep. All right. Nice. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. On the Rumble side, we have the Gear Report channel, Guitar Gear Report, Camping, Firearms, Humvee, Swimming, and Gear Report Maker. Guitar and Maker have had some things put up recently. Oh, and also I posted a video on the main Gear Report YouTube as well as the Gear Report Rumble for that. Here it is, the out the front knife, that TACCOM knife that I showed you guys a week or two ago. There's a video up on that now that you can go check out if you so care to. But it's if you search Gear-Report on Rumble, you'll find all those channels and everything. So really happy about that. We can still call our discussion TJ's Happy Hour in honor of TJ, who was called away for more important things this evening. But I think we are at the point of the program where we're transitioning into repeal the NFA, boo ATF, and that falls under the banner of TJ's Happy Hour. So we're really boo ATF up there for now because that's what I'm feeling.
I support that message.
Yeah. So what have you guys been up to? Anyone have some really cool stuff you want to tell us about that you've been working on lately?
BB guns out the wazoo here.
Did you say BB guns?
Yeah.
Well, that's a new one.
Yeah.
That like
one of the
Umarex
one
or
of the,
something?
Yeah, Umarex. Yeah, one of the SHOT Show discussions, that came through.
Nice. Yeah.
And it has really boosted Amazon side. Like, I think month to date, because I think I got the first videos up with the new batch. That they sent me a big box of stuff and sent me all new stuff too. The conversation we had was broke stuff.
Yeah.
And the box came, and I was legit. They told me they were sending. He gave me a heads up, said, "Hey, there's a big box of stuff headed your way," and I expected to open it and see a bunch of broke parts, just throw it in there, whatever. It was all brand new stuff, and I called and I'm like, "What the heck, dude?" And he's like, "It's just as easy for us to send." I'm like, "Well, whatever. I appreciate it, but that wasn't what we talked about, so I feel kind of bad." And anyway, I think it was like the second or third of this month, so pretty much the entire month I've had extra videos up on that stuff. And man, I think it count today, it sold something like 123 Umarex BB guns or something so far
Wow.
this month. Yeah,
That's
it's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely boosted the BB gun sales in general, because in doing the videos I had the Crossman CO2 cartridges, right, and BBs in the background and other things. So there was other non-Umarex stuff that has sold, and I gotta figure I've seen some Crossman, some Daisy, even some man, what is that? There's a brand, and they're at SHOT Show,
Beeman.
and they've got the guy that does the twirling the handguns and stuff, the cowboy guy.
Cimarron?
No, it's like Barra or Barry
Oh, no.
or
Do they make the
replica.
non-lethal?
Nah, they make like replica. So they make replica air guns for like Wild Western and stuff like that are the same weight and dimensions and all. And that's why the guy twirls them and does his thing, is because they're normal dimension. Barra Air maybe, or something like that. I can't remember. But anyway, point being, more than Umarex stuff has sold, and I couldn't tell you exactly what, but you got to figure that's related product or something,
Yeah.
right?
And for anyone who doesn't understand what we're talking about, so everyone here but Kevin does videos for Amazon, and in those, any kind of firearms type stuff, we can't actually use them. So that's why it makes perfect sense to me that Clover said, "Send me broken stuff if you want," because the use of putting the videos up on Amazon, you're not allowed to fire them, so it doesn't matter that they don't fire.
Right.
Like you're allowed to fire to show them to people and point out different features. You just can't actually use them. GWeb says that is BARRA, Barra Air Guns.
There you go. Yeah,
That
sounds
stuff.
right.
I looked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's brilliant to try to find a win for the brands to say, hey, you help me, I'll help you, and if you want to send new stuff, we can. It gives you an opportunity to then put up a review on the Barra air guns on or Umarex or whatever on other places like CloverTech or on Gear-Report or
Oh yeah,
someplace like
absolutely.
that, if you like. So
Yeah.
I think it's smart of the brand to send functional stuff, but I will offer brands sometimes if depending on what our intended use is. If we're just going to do Amazon videos, it doesn't have to work because we're not allowed to
Right.
demonstrate it anyway. for gun stuff.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest with you. There's a couple in that of what they sent me that will probably get like a YouTube video or something. They're that cool. You know what I mean? It's the the CO2 powered that is just the way the mags load, the way all the articulation, the weights are normal weights. There's a 1911 in there, for example, and I mean it's blowback operated. It's amazing. I mean it's basically a firearm, and it's not because it's CO2 powered and it shoots 177 BBs, but or is it 177? Yeah, 177 BBs. So, um, but if you was to see that thing shoot or something, you'd swear up and down it was a 22, just the way all the articulation and everything else with it. So there are a couple things like that that will no doubt get YouTube videos moving forward.
Nice. And there are a number of bigger airgun companies or airsoft companies that we see at SHOT Show that I've talked to about getting like bigger, like crew serve machine gun mountable type stuff to put on the Humvees. So
Nice.
there's all sorts of really cool stuff in the gun space that aren't actually firearms, whether it's air guns or airsoft, or I mean, even some of the new little toy gel guns are neat and fun to play with as well. So
Yeah,
lots of cool.
I had a long, fairly long conversation, and what I thought was a good conversation with Crossman Benjamin. I think they're under the same banner. And unfortunately for them, from what's going on with Umarex right now, unfortunately for that company, there was nothing manifested coming out of SHOT with them. So they're lost, you know.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. All right. So let's see. Was that anyone else have something they want to talk about? I'm going to
In this
piggyback on
segment or for the
something.
show or what?
Yeah, well, any cool things you're doing. Think about if there's anything you want to talk about. I'm going to call attention. I'm going to bring Kevin up big on the screen just for a second to show his pegboard back behind there that he put up, because
Yeah.
I've got some pegboard stuff that's on the way that I've got off Amazon. It looks like a different pattern for the holes and slots on yours.
Yeah, I've
But
made some significant progress on my gun pegboard setup in
yeah,
my
you did. It's
gun room
wrapped
here.
all the way around.
This light, I got it wrapped all the way around, and I got the lighting, that I want to use. And look at this, I can go red, right? All the different colors, and
Yeah,
then there's like a showroom white, and then there's an off white, and it's really cool, right? To be
yeah,
able to kind of swap out the lighting in the background.
yeah.
And this gun pegboard, it's made in Georgia,
Right.
and it's phenomenal, right? It's really solid locking mechanism. That'll probably be one of my next reviews, is getting all the content together for that.
Cool.
Is
So
it
I
wood?
wanted to.
Is it wood?
No, it's not wood, it's metal, right? It's like a formed metal, and then there's vertical slats on it. So you can use traditional pegboard components on it, or you can use their metal ones. Let me
Isn't it?
see.
Is it IKEA that has a similar type of pegboard system where it's got some vertical slats in it?
I've seen
They
an
might.
AK-47 rack at IKEA, but not
They
one for
might.
a 10.
They might. Here's what I want to show you. This is one of the mounts that's on there, and you see
Right.
how
Yeah.
it's metal, right? It's solid
Yeah.
steel, and the way that it racks into those vertical slots, it's wicked cool. And
Nice.
so they're very solid, and they'll hold, all your different weapons and accessories and components.
Sure.
So
So I wanted to zoom in on those pegboards a little bit to mention that I was inspired by Kevin, and I grabbed a couple off Amazon Vine, a 3-pack that honestly I thought it was going to show up today. It should be here any day now, and I'm going to put one beside the 3D printer and two of them in the secure gun room. And I have been. I'm going to take the screen for a second
Why don't you just
here.
3D print the pegboard?
Well, I could, but I've been 3D printing stuff. So I just printed this little tray that's got the hooks here. I haven't even broken the little support pieces off. Like this came off of the printer right before the program started. So those little support pieces were still in there. So
Have you
I've got
done anything
this.
where you print and then pause and then put some metal in there and then keep printing so that you get
Not yet.
reinforcement and everything?
No, not yet. But I'm not opposed to doing that. This is to hold uh, my calipers, which actually happen to be sitting right here. I haven't even checked to make sure they fit yet.
I
But
like that. I like that.
yeah,
That's awesome.
so
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Are you just
Yeah.
going onto a place and grabbing tools off of someplace, or are you like opening up CAD and making pieces?
Oh, I don't know how to do that stuff yet. I've CAD'd something very basic that I actually gave most of you guys at SHOT Show. The little maybe everyone here got one. I don't remember the little coaster. That's the only thing I've actually CAD'd myself,
I
and it
never
was
got a
just a
toaster.
very basic Tinker CAD, and it was not very good. But I'm getting things off of what's it called? Thingiverse and Printables and some other places. You get Odyssey, the video hosting platform. You can get stuff. This is the truss rod cover for a guitar. It's actually going to go on this one right back here, and the one that's on it is plain. So I printed one and I put the raised Gear-Report, and I stopped it. It did all the black body of it, and then I stopped it right as it was moving the head to start printing the words Gear-Report, and I changed the filament from black to white so that it printed Gear-Report in white. So I've been
Does your
playing with
slicer
some.
let you stop the print right there so that you don't have to wait? Like it'll, can you interrupt the print at that point so that you don't have to
Yes.
guess?
Well, I'm sure there's a way to code it, like to go through the lines of code and figure out where the appropriate place is and insert a
Well,
pause.
I thought maybe your
I
printer
don't know
had
how
the
to
thing
do
to
that.
do that or something. Okay.
It may. I'm not that sophisticated in how I use it, but I've taken some things like this is a the general shape of a Glock magazine, and it's on a platform so that I can mount a pistol through the magwell. And I took this. This was designed by Ethan Middleton, who was on a couple months ago for Middleton Made, and I sunk down into it. Gear-Report. So TJ doesn't even know I made this. I'm going to give this to him at the gathering in a couple weeks, unless I forget, and then I'll have to mail it to him. But so I've been customizing some things in that way. Like I opened this in Tinkercad and put the words on and sunk them down into the surface as a void so that it actually, these are sunken down in, whereas this one was raised letters added to the surface. These are, letters sunken down into the surface. So those are,
That's pretty brilliant.
yeah, it's it's pretty standard, pretty basic stuff, but I'm very unsophisticated. I'm learning, and like changing the filament color. There are a number of printers today. A couple years ago, when I was looking into this, I'm going to put you guys back on the screen. Sorry about that. When I started looking into 3D printing, before I really got into it, I was very hesitant because even very basic slow printing was very expensive. And now, I got the biggest printer I could find, and it was only $500, and it prints great. And a little hassle here and there, and I can manually change the filament. But if I went with a smaller printer for $600-700, I could have got one with a geez, they've even got one for like 450 now, I think, or 500, with a 4-spool holder, so it'll hold 4 different colors, and it will automatically change them on each layer. You can print in 4 colors. It's a pain. It takes a long time because it has to, like if you're printing in black and you want to change to print in red, it has to retract the black filament and then push the red filament in and then purge all of the black out until it's printing nothing but red, and then it can print the red. And then when it's done and you want to change to white, now it's got to retract the red, push the white in, purge out the red. And you can daisy chain those. I can't remember what it is. Something AMS, something management system, automatic management. I don't know. For the filament, you can daisy chain 4 of them together and have 16 different colors, but it would take forever to print that. But it's all very automated now. Whereas, a few years ago, you could spend 10 grand on a 3D printer and maybe not have that capability. And today, for for $1,000, $1,500, you can do really, really intensely neat things. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, and a lot of the stuff I'm printing, I can't show you. You got to go to the Gear Report Maker channel on Rumble or the Gear Report Firearms channel on Rumble to see many of the things that we're printing here, or the Gear Report Guitars channel. You know, we got a couple of the 3D printed guitars back there that actually, you know, real guitar parts in them, and they play and sound just like real guitars. So, I mean, they are real guitars. They're just 3D printed bodies. So, a lot of cool stuff you can do with 3D printing today. I think of the people on the panel, Kevin, have you started playing with 3D printing now?
Yeah. I'm dipping my toe into it. I've got a couple projects that I wanted to do with 3D printer, and so a buddy of mine has one of them, and I bought a thing of filament that's glow in the dark filament, and
Yeah.
I'm just interested to see like how it works and how it functions. So we were setting up like setting up the bed and getting it all squared away. And our filament actually broke off inside the tube, so we had all kinds of pain in the ass with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never used glow in the dark filament, but my understanding is that it can be kind of tricky.
Well, this
So,
was the existing stuff that was in there that was really, really old and brittle, and it
yep,
snapped off in there before we were able to feed the new stuff.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it
I'm
should be
pretty.
pretty interesting.
I think Clover's got one that he hadn't used much. Is that
Dude,
right?
it's still in the box, bro.
What?
It is
I was
still in
trying
the
to
box.
use
It's
some
been in the
credit.
box like 2 years or something. I don't even know now. This is insane. But I got last week we were talking about it, and I'm like, it may be time to finally set that thing up. So we'll see. I'm gonna be seeing some daylight this podcast season. I'm recording the last episode for this podcast season tomorrow. So, and this weekend, Saturday, we're having the kids over and hanging out and some other stuff and having a salad buffet night, so to speak, using air quotes. And so I know my son was interested in playing with it too some. So I may commission him to help me set it up, and we may actually set it up Saturday.
You should do that because
Finally.
the technology is moving forward.
There's
Pretty
so many
quickly.
things. You're showing the pegboard stuff, right? I've got pegboard everywhere.
Yeah.
Now I just buy the whatever the wood, the whatever style it is, but I've got 2x4 sections, 2x3 sections, 1x4 sections, 1x8, all over the place, right?
Yeah.
In different spots where I've got room to put something up, some pegboard, and so I can always use extra hooks and all kinds of little bends and things like that, like you're talking about. I'm looking right now at um, a thing that I built out of wood to hold all of the conversion kits for my Dillon um, reloading press, and I know for a fact they make things that attach to pegboard that hold all of those.
Oh yeah.
That I could 3D print, and it would look much better and take up a lot less room because it's not made out of wood.
Oh, hit the wrong button. I'm showing here. Chris Chris did a bunch of gun reviews early on when Gear Report started doing guns. He was one of the first gun writers with Gear Report, and now I collaborate with him on 3D printing stuff. He printed the orange and black guitar body that's behind me, and really helped me get started with 3D printing. And I get 3D printer parts off of Vine and take them over to his house and film them. He's set up a little 3D printing studio in his garage, and he's got this pegboard that's what is it, a hex shape or something? It's got 6 sides, however many, whatever that makes it. This little honeycomb type shape. Um, that's a whole system, and there are a number of different systems that have been designed like this, where he says that one's a multi-board. And it has all sorts of attachments that just fit into those little holes. Plus, it's got the normal peg holes as well. And that's just one example. There's so many different types
Yeah,
of
see
things
that.
you
That's
can get.
neat. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I think I had slowed down on printing for a little bit I was having a little bit of problems with my machine, and I found a utility to help set it up a little bit more accurately so the bed is level, and have gotten some amazing prints out of it lately. So I'm pretty stoked. And like I said, some of them I can't really show you guys because the YouTubes would nuke our broadcast if I brought some of that stuff out. But you can go check it out on the Rumble channels for Gear Report to see some of those things in action. We've had some good luck with that. So, is anyone here going to the gathering in a couple weekends? I know Kevin has gone before. Last I heard, he was like, "I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it."
I'm about 80% confident that I am going.
Cool. All right. So right now it's supposed to be me and Jose Juan and TJ. At the rate TJ's been going, I pretty much expect when the day comes, I'm going to hear, "Sorry, man, I'm stuck at work. I can't make it." Which means it'll be Jose Juan and I going. So that's a blast from the past. Jose hadn't been around much in the past couple years. He's circling back and doing some more cool stuff with us now. So
Nice.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I'll miss you guys. I know you guys have traveled out east for some events in the past, so I always get my hopes up that someone's going to show up and hang out with us.
Well, I went, the times I've been was mainly because I could do like a 1-2 punch, because it was that event, and then like 2 days earlier was the Shooting Sports Showcase from Palma, and then like 2 days later was the gathering. So you could spend like a week and you covered essentially 2 events, and then I always would factor in a factory tour, or get something right, kind of in between there too. Um, so that's not happening. I mean, the whole Shooting Sports Showcase with Poma is, at this point, it's pretty much all fell apart. Um, but I don't know that it'll ever happen again. And then they nixed the media day at the gathering too, which is super discouraging for me.
It is.
I don't
It
know that I
is.
like that.
The first time they had the gathering, TJ and I were there, and um, the short version of that story is some weather events happened. So a tornado came through where the event was, picked up one of the tents, flipped it over, like one of the big heavy duty brand display tent rows got flipped over, and it's a good thing no one was in it because someone would have died. I'm fairly certain. It was really bad. And because of the bad weather, some people didn't show up. We got to stay uh, in the facility there, the lodge at the sawmill with the Palmetto State Armory team. We were supposed to be camping in one of my big military tents, but they let us come inside because the weather was real bad. So we got to really bend their ear, and I was like a broken record the whole time. And Hank was there quite a bit, and Hank told him the same thing. What do you mean we've got to try to film content amongst people who have paid to get in and they want to shoot too? Like, it's not just they want to shoot; like they paid to be there. So it really creates a conflict of interest. And I feel for the brands that have to try to walk that line of, yes, we need to be nice to the media and get the content while they're here, but we also don't want to shortchange the people who paid for their ability to try the guns and shoot them, that
Hmm.
we're now saying, no, hold on while these media people shoot something.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I,
even if you did some kind of a half day, even if you did, noon to 5, or whatever, some kind of something, a
yeah,
day before, you wouldn't have to do it necessarily a whole day, I don't think. But yeah, I mean, maybe they'll come around. I mean, at one time they were charging for media, like there's been
yeah,
several things with the gathering that has evolved and or devolved over the over the years. So who
yeah.
knows then the next few years what's going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. It's been very interesting to see how it's evolved, and as their leadership has changed, the gathering was really Chad's baby, and since Chad is at Zero Delta now and
Mhm.
no longer at Palmetto, um, I don't know how invested Logan and the other people who are organizing the gathering these days. I'm not sure how invested they are in
Well, and
really
it's
sticking to that original vision for that event.
that event's fairly close for you, right? So
Yeah.
it makes sense for you.
Yep.
For me, it's not close.
Right.
And so if we're talking about something that's not close, I'm looking at a couple of different events this year. GunCon in June, for example, and the GOA's new event in August.
Yeah.
Adding those, and so that also factors in. Do I go to a non-media day event? That's a pretty good jump. I mean, I've drove straight through to that before, so certainly could do it again. But it's definitely taxing. Thanks to G-Webs for keeping me alive coming back the last time I did it. But or do I shift that over and say nope, and go to something else? And so at this point, that's my mind's pretty much that I've decided I'm going to put that into something else and see what happens.
Well, for example, when I think the last time you were at the gathering was one of the times that I had taken the Battlewagon to
You
display,
did, yeah. Well,
and
this last
that's a
time,
big
yeah.
deal. That's like why I have it. A lot of the justification for having it is to be able to take it to events like that.
Hmm.
And I didn't take it the last time because for what it cost, like I didn't feel like anyone cared that much. I've taken it to two of the gathering events and
Hmm.
didn't feel like I had much of a return on that. So the last time I didn't, and I'm leaning against. I don't know. I may take it this time. I may not. I haven't decided yet. But I'm getting a new Humvee.
Yeah, you're
Um,
selling it, so why wouldn't you
and
take it to see
I'm
it for the last time?
take it and well because it's a 4 hour drive, and if it breaks, like I can sell it. It's fine if I drive it that far and something breaks.
Rent a U-Haul
It's
trailer and
break.
tow it with an electric car.
Oh, that's a good idea, Pete. Thank you.
Or you tow it there and then you put your for sale sign on it.
Yeah. Well, the
Oh,
for sale
that.
sign is the reason that I'm
Most
leaning.
creators can buy that with pocket change. They can buy that with one brand deal.
Yep. Yep. Well, we don't call it when the brand deals are that big. We don't call them brand deals anymore. They're referred to as clover deals. At least that's what I believe we call them. So anyhow, that's we are approaching our hour. So I would like to shift gears at this point. We're going to leave the Boo ATF up because that just feels appropriate. We're going to do two things. So everyone get ready to make your little promo pitch to talk about anything you have coming up or pimp your channels or your publications or whatever. And while you're thinking about that, oh, look at that. That guy's wife media is feeling neglected, apparently. So let's see. We have a segment that we'll put up on the screen here. Patch of the week. Kevin has been coming through with new patches for us to look at. So what do you have?
Yes, indeed. This week I've got a really, really cool guy for you.
Oh,
This is
that
a
is.
pig with night vision and a
Yeah,
suppressed rifle,
that is.
and it's really awesome. And I don't even remember where I got it from. I got it in a trade from someone
Yeah,
else, and I just thought it was cool.
nice. That's not a California compliant rifle, is it?
No, I don't think so.
Good, good. All right, I still respect the pig.
But that'll be
That's
your patch of the week.
awesome. All right. So let's make the rounds and let's go backwards this time. We'll start with G-Webs. Anything you want to tell us about? And then we'll do G-Webs. The ever talkative Gizzard Gary. I know he's talked a lot during this program already, but we're going to ask him to talk again. And then we can go up to get the update on Suppressor Man and then over to Clover. So, G-Web.
Thanks for the invite, and cool to see you hit the 200 mark.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you were able to work out your audio and get here.
Yeah. No problem.
All right, guess that's over to you, Jizzard Jerry.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. Check out my Friday night podcast. That's at 9 p.m. Central Time, Foul Territory, every Friday. We'd love to have you there. And once again, congrats on 200. That's a big deal. Keep on going, man. And thanks for
Yeah,
having
thank
me.
you. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. If anyone is not familiar with where to find these people, I'm dropping links. I got a little bit behind on right out of the gate. So there's the G Webs and Jizzard Jerry, whatever you choose to call him.
Yeah.
We can move around the horn up to Suppressor Man.
Hey there, suppressorman.com. I also bought the suppressed.life URL
Oh,
this week, so that's cool. It already redirects there. I've added Titman Arms also, so I'm doing sales for Titman in the Georgia and around the country as well.
yeah,
So I've got GSL suppressors, Resilient suppressors, and Titman Arms, and that's awesome.
nice. All right. We'll keep an eye out for that and hope that we get to see you at the gathering.
Yes,
And
sir.
see, thanks for being here. And let's see, Clover Tech.
Well, first off, to that guy's wife, Media, the reason that I did not answer a message is that both of my phones are dead or were dead and on the charger in the bedroom. So, yeah, I ain't got a way to get a message. Um, so yeah, like I said earlier, recording the last episode of this podcast season actually tomorrow. Now we're recording live for the YouTube channel members, and then those are trickling out 2 week, every Monday, every Friday. So there will be a podcast drop to the public tomorrow as well. Um, and hopefully, next week or so, a lot of the gear and other things from SHOT Show, guns and gear and other things over the last couple of weeks or so for sure has really started to trickle in. So um, a lot of cool things, some pretty neat little 22s and some shotguns and just all kinds of other cool things that will be, the normal YouTube's content.
Yeah,
And then NRA and May, GunCon in June. So until then, it'll be till May anyway. It will be all normal content, trying to crank that stuff out.
nice. All right. Let's see on this end. Keep your eyes out on the various different Gear Report social media channels, the Gear Report website, but specifically the social media stuff. Because I think the real content's probably going to lag behind the social media post when the new Humvee arrives. I got too much going on, so it'll probably be brief posts as we get that and pressure wash it, get cleaned up and ready for conversion from just some normal Humvee into the Battlewagon number 4, the fourth former military Humvee that we will refurbish and bastardize and customize and make it everything that we always wanted. So those are fun projects that we'd love to bring people along on. So keep your eyes out for that. That is getting closer and closer. Like I said, probably the end of the month. It's really just a scheduling thing with the guy I'm getting it from. We've had so much rain here in North Carolina that where he has it stored is at the bottom of a hill with kind of a driveway that gets muddy when it rains. It has rained so much that the to get the truck and trailer down there to put it on and haul all this stuff up the hill wasn't going to work. So we got to wait. It's been drying out for a while. It's probably going to be dry enough in a week or two that he can start getting that out and getting it ready to bring over to Gear Report headquarters. We're looking forward to that. Thanks everyone for being here. As I mentioned earlier, it says down here in the ticker, live on Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. Keep an eye out on the different socials. We may be changing that because as schedules have changed for our regular panelists and people who generally join the program, um, that schedule is not necessarily working as well as it used to. So we may be moving that around soon. We'll definitely let you know. Um, I think that's it, folks. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week. Until next time, we'll see you at the range.